what's up? The Jawn Joy is here.
Jawn Joy.
The Jawn Joy.
The young Jawn.
The young Jawn Joy.
What's up? Southside Dash Radio. It's the Jawn Joy. Now, I have none other than Kiyomi Leslie in the building. You know, you might have seen her on Wild 'N Out. Then you might have seen her on Growing Up in Hip Hop. Then you might have heard that she's dropping some music soon, too. What's poppin'?
What's good?
How are you today?
I'm doing good.
You know, I just gotta, I gotta big you up real quick. Like, the fit is fly. It's like
Thank
so
you.
chill, rainy day-ish,
Yes,
but
it's
still
rainy
so freaky.
day.
Like,
yes, girl, I had to cover up the hair, you know.
look,
It's raining real hard outside.
this ain't really gonna protect me from the rain, but
Okay.
you know, I'm just out here still. So just tell me about it. Like, how has the whole experience been starting? And I know you started out in videos, then transitioning into Wild 'N Out, and now growing up in hip hop, and now also using the platform to, you know, tell people about your music.
The whole transition has been one of a kind. I'm not going to lie. Like, it's been a roller coaster. It was hard because I feel like people see me and prejudge me based off of what they know me for, as far as doing videos and Instagram twerking. But I decided to keep going because there are a lot of girls who are just like me who want to do the same things that I'm doing. And I'm letting them know that it's okay to come from somewhere and have a background and still persevere and make the most out of your situation. I feel like growing up hip hop gave me a platform to really speak and really tell my story in some kind of fashion because, you know, their edit game is crazy. So I really feel like I'm doing overtime now to try to tell the world that I'm not that crazy psycho girlfriend, you know? So other than that, everything is great. I feel like it gave me a platform to put out my music and let people know there is another side of me other than twerking and being a crazy girlfriend.
You keep mentioning twerking. Can you teach me how to twerk one day? I do want to.
Girl, you know what? I think I'm
not
going to do a twerk
dance at
class.
all. I'm not dancing at all. Like, you know what I do in the club? That's all I do.
I think it's all about... People think that twerking is something bad, but I think it's all about confidence because it's not just the twerking that caught people's attention. Like, even from my comments, guys were saying that you look so beautiful, and it's 1,000 girls that's twerking online right now. So why is it that me, out of all of those thousands of women who are twerking, that I got the most attention out of, you know what I'm saying, the group? It's all about confidence. I feel like anything you do, you got to have confidence in. That's what I really want to teach women, like how to be confident in yourself and not let a man tell you what is sexy and what's not.
Have you always had that confidence? Because, you know, for some people, it's like they're born with it and they have it from a young age. And then others, is kind of like that uphill battle where they kind of grow into it and learn it as they get older, learn to have it.
I think a little bit of both. I think I'm an Aries, so naturally I'm a natural born leader. But I think when I was younger, I didn't believe in myself enough. And when I got older, I stopped caring about what people thought about me because growing up, I used to get picked on, just like a lot of girls, I'm sure, growing into that awkward stage. So once I got to that age where I didn't give a fuck, excuse me, but I just decided to step into my own self and really be like, if you don't like me, fuck it. Like, I am who I am. God created me the way I'm supposed to be. And I also feel like if you want to change things about yourself, if you don't like it, go ahead. Like, it's all about self-confidence. I grew into this confidence, and now you can't tell me shit about myself.
There you go. All right. So what would you say is like one thing that you struggled with that now you worked on and then you overcame it when it comes to building that confidence?
One thing that I can say I really struggle with is how people perceived me as far as what they thought about me. I was always by myself. I was a loner. And then when I started growing up, I started getting into being in the dancing field. And I learned how to be a woman. I learned how to seduce. I learned how to be more in tune with my body, and I think that people perceive that as being a whore or a slut or whatever, or promiscuous, and that wasn't me. And I really struggled with dealing with people talking about me because I felt like you don't know me enough to talk about me. And now in this generation where if you put it on social media,
everybody has an opinion.
Yeah, and it's God if you put it on social media, like, oh, she's a hoe. So now because this person said it, it's true. And so I struggle with that. But then, like, you know what? I know myself, and the people who really know me know my heart and know who I am. So I don't care what the world thinks as long as my family rocking with me.
How do you balance the, I guess, I had this conversation with Dream Dow, and it more so was, you know, being on reality TV, being out there in that field, and the notions, how people perceive you, the perceptions of how people perceive you, aside from how your family, your friends, people around you that work with you also know you, and basically like balancing them too, like knowing that what's coming in isn't the truth about you, but also like putting enough out there to be like, hey, this is part of me.
I think what it is basically it's a job. Like I had to let even my significant other, I let them know that this is a job for me. At the end of the day, what you see on Instagram is not who I am when I come home. Kiyomi is a brand, and Leslie is the person who's sensitive, who can cry, who has feelings and emotions, and will have some insecurities. I think for people to say they have no insecurities, it makes them inhuman. Like, I'm human. I have feelings. I care about what things are said about me and what things are done to me, and you know that I just feel like that makes you human. You can sit up here and say I have tough feelings. I'm sure even Beyonce has feelings, you know, about some things that are said about her. But I just separated too. My mom, at first she was upset, like, you gonna be twerking on the gram? Like, what the hell are you doing? And I was just like, I'm making money from this. Like, I made money. It's not like I'm up here doing it for my enjoyment. I was making a living for myself. And I salute any woman who's out there trying to get it on her own, because it's so easy to lay on your back and get it that way. But I'm out here hustling, trying to make it a different way than just selling myself. So, yeah.
So growing up, what did, like, I know more so now you're preparing, working on your project, everything like that for the top of the year. When you were younger, was it always music, or was that something that just came into play? Like, what did young Kiyomi want? What did you want when you were younger? What did you want to be?
Girl, I'm an Aries, so what that means is I switch things up so fast. Like, I'm passionate about everything that I do. So it started off with me wanting to be a veterinarian because I really love animals. That's like my go-to thing. I'll cry about a cat being on the side of the road. I'm that person that's going to adopt the cat off the street. Then I went from wanting to be a veterinarian to a fashion designer. I would draw sketches in my book.
I think you might still have to do that because the drip is still hard.
You know what?
Like,
it's so crazy because I be at home like, no, this won't work. This won't work. But then it comes together. But so after fashion designer, I wanted to go into writing books because I write poetry all the time. I'm really good at writing. And then with that, I always loved music, but I became better at writing when I heard music. I was doing covers. Before I even knew what the word was, I was writing covers to songs. And one day, some guy on Snapchat, his name is Kai, shout out to him, he gave me the opportunity to come to his studio and work. And I was so nervous in front of the microphone. Like, I stepped in front of it and I was just like, hello, what do you want me to say? I just lost it. And then I just got more comfortable and I was just like, this is what I want to do. Like, I'm comfortable in front of the microphone now. I'm cocky.
Have you ever thought about like sharing some of your poetry on like IG and stuff like that?
I do share little writings every now and then, but sometimes with this industry, people can steal your work and put it in their books and make it theirs. So I kind of keep it private, but I am getting into the habit of sharing my poetry because I feel like that opens up another side of me and let people know that I'm human just like you are. I go through things just like you. I think sometimes when people see us in a light, they don't think that we go through the same realities as the norm.
Yeah. I want to go back to more so you said when you were talking about social media and everything is God on social media. Do you have a lot of, I would believe you got a lot of younger girls that look up to you, that follow you and stuff like that.
It's crazy because I didn't even know how many young girls look up to me until I started doing lives every Thursday night when Growing Up Hip Hop would come on. So many young girls, I click on their live and I'm like, this girl's like 13.
So what's that like, and do you feel like any responsibility? Like, because that could be scary sometimes. Like, even as a young woman now, and you have like if you have younger siblings or younger cousins and things like that. Because I know me personally, like when I go back home and I see how many of my little cousins are looking up to me, I be like, oh damn.
I gotta set an example.
You get what I'm saying? So then on top of that, seeing a whole bunch of strangers of kids or younger girls just look up to you and also having that on you. Like, what's that like? And what are those conversations like? Do you ever go through those DMs and see what they're saying to you?
Yeah, of course. I know a lot of the girls. I try to keep in touch with them. And I think more than anything, I want to make it clear that I didn't get into this to be a role model. You know, I got into this to make a living for myself, and it's just something that I got into. So I don't want to be held to that responsibility, even though I know it kind of is a responsibility for me to set an example for girls growing up. But I wasn't fortunate enough to have a role model to be in this industry. I just did what I thought I had to do to make it. But I will always preach, you know, going to school and bettering yourself and having a backup plan, because I wasn't fortunate enough to go to school because at the time I didn't have the funds to pay my college tuition and do all of that stuff. So it was coming out of pocket. And then when I felt like times were getting hard, I had to do what I had to do. And I just said I always wanted to see my name in stars and in lights. And so I'll tell any woman, like, if you feel like that's what your dream is, go and strive for your dream and don't let nobody stop you. But I also let them know, like, it's better ways to do it than what I did. Be better than me. Don't just see me as the blueprint and want to follow that. Like, do it in a better way.
So speaking on that, like when you said just the blueprint, like I'm not the blueprint, this is just the way I went about it.
Mm-hmm.
What are your thoughts now? Because a lot of the times now with reality TV, it's becoming like the whole notion that if you want to be a rapper, if you want to do music, whatever the case may be, get on reality TV, get yourself known that way, and then transition to it. So then it just becomes this whole cycle of a lot of reality TV stars then becoming artists. What are your thoughts on that? And do you feel like that's any part of your story, or that's just how it ended up going?
First, I feel like that's just how my story ended up going. I met my ex-boyfriend, and he knew at the time that music was very important to me. And so that's how we even started talking. And then he put me in a position He put me on a platform to where I could do that. But I really don't think that you have to do that. I think that you build your social media, because now we're living in this social media day and age where popularity rules. People may not like me as a person, but because I'm popular, they're going to listen to the music. And I think that's what a lot of this trend of getting on reality TV, because reality TV wants what's popular.
Yeah.
So then they go and look at these popular girls and they want them to come on TV. And then from there, their dream was to always be an artist. But I'm going to use this as a stepping stone to create a platform for myself. So now I'm out there in front of millions of people instead of just 40, 50, 600,000 people.
Gotcha. All right, so let's get into the music. You're working on your project.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a name for it yet?
No, I don't have a name for it yet.
What's the vibe like? I mean, I seen a couple snippets from Growing Up in Hip Hop.
Mm-hmm.
Your live, just you like teasing music. So what can people be expecting from the project? Like, who have you been working with, and what do you want to talk about on it?
Okay, so I think first I'll give you some inspiration. My inspiration when I was working on my EP is Trina, Foxy, Lil' Kim. That's like my thing. I love that old school mixed with the new school. I love Lil Wayne, the 504 Boys, so I wanted to give some New Orleans swing to it. I'm talking about the things that, you know, girls want to hear about. Money, cars, clothes, niggas that ain't shit. Money, like the glamorous life. I talk about everything. I think I talk about niggas being in their feelings, because a lot of the times I feel like because women are women, we're expected to always be in our feelings. But there are men who are in their feelings.
That's true.
I think I talk about that more than anything. Like, guys just being ain't shit, and it's okay to be a boss bitch and own that. Because so many times I feel like guys want to portray a woman as being a gold digger, or because she's pretty, she only wants him for fame or whatever. And I feel like that's not true. A woman can be her own boss, and it may not be on the level that a man is, but she's still her own boss. And that's what I want to instill in every woman. It don't matter what you got, as long as you own it and you walk in your own truth, you're a boss.
There you go. There you go. All right, so there's a song you were playing on your live, and it was called like Lame Niggas. Cutting lame niggas off or something. Cutting lame niggas off.
Cutting lame niggas
All right.
off.
Now, when it comes to the cut off requirements, Aside from him being a lame nigga, what else makes
I think
the
his
list?
actions make him a lame nigga.
Okay, so what actions make a nigga lame for him to get cut the hell off?
I think it's all about like communication. Like for me, if you don't communicate with me and you disrespect me, I'm an Aries, so I'm an aggressive person by nature. I'm used to being my own boss. When I look for a mate, I look for a mate. I look for somebody who's my equal, not because I'm less than, because I'm a woman. I look for a head honcho because I like power. I want somebody who's equally as powerful as me, if not more, because you can bring me up. I think a man is all supposed to bring his woman up. So for me to call you lame or cut a lame nigga off, I feel like you not being the man that I need you to be. You're disrespectful. You allow another woman. If you allow another woman to talk about your queen, the queen is the most valuable piece on the board. And if you allow somebody to steal that, then I feel like you lame. I feel like if you don't take care of your woman, you lame. Mm-hmm. I feel like if you don't, if you lie, you're lame. I feel like if you don't do the things you're supposed to do as a man to keep your woman happy, you're lame, and I'll cut you off. Like
and from the list, everything on the list is things that money can't buy.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like just the respect, the honesty, the thoroughness from someone that you're with.
For me, there are things that money cannot buy. You can be rich, you can be wealthy, but still be mentally and spiritually broke. Thanks. Because money is not going to make me stop crying at night. Yeah, to cry in a Benz or cry in a Bentley is good, but at the end of the day, I'm still going to go sleep in a bed with somebody who I feel like is an enemy. And that to me you can't buy that part. Like, you can't buy my soul. And that's so much of what I struggle with in dating, because these guys nowadays, no woman wants to date somebody who's broke or doesn't have it all together. I think you find times where you can help each other build up, but most of the time, I mean, I feel like a man is going to have himself more put together than a woman most of the time. But, I feel like you got to bring your woman up there. And if you're not, then get ghost. I'm so used to dropping a nigga, it's not even funny.
I'm so used to dropping a nigga.
Like, I've been doing it on my own, so it's nothing.
That's funny.
I drop a nigga.
Quick to drop a nigga.
Yeah.
All right. You brought up the Future bar, the line he posted. What were your thoughts about that? I know he caught a lot of slack for that on social media when he said you're going to cry in a Nissan or you're going to cry in a Wraith or some shit like that. Whatever he said, he caught a lot of slack for it.
Yes. I mean, hold on. I love Future. Hey, Future. But I'm all for supporting my women. So at the same time, I feel like that's a hard thing to tell a woman to do. Would you rather cry in a Wraith or would you rather cry in a Honda? Like, I would rather not cry at all. You know what I'm saying? I would rather you communicate with me and be on the same page with me and let me know what's going on. If you want to go back to your baby mother, have that conversation with me. Let me know. Let me be the first to know before the world knows, you know? I know it's a hard situation because as a man, you have money and you have power and you can have any woman you want, so it becomes hard. But I feel like these guys have moms, daughters, and they're going to soon have wives. And you're causing a cycle of broken women. And then they say that they don't understand why Black women especially are so angry, because we go through a lot just growing up. Some of these women are molested. Some of these women have been beat on, and now they have to hold it all together. And a man comes along that's supposed to love them and breaks them down even more and just moves on like it's nothing. I feel like, don't ask me whether I would rather cry in a Bentley or a Honda. You know that every woman is going to say I'd rather cry in a Bentley, but don't make me choose that. I'd rather you love on me instead of hurting me.
I think it also goes to, well, you just touched on a whole bunch, but I was having a conversation earlier with one of my friends, and it was more so just Black women and how we are like the most unprotected in this country. And most of the times, the only time a Black woman is protected is because another Black woman is protecting her. Mm-hmm. And then on top of that, we also have our own issues with interior. Inside dealing with us. When it comes to that, what was your relationship with your mom and seeing, like, more so, I read that your dad wasn't in your life. Mm-hmm. Your dad's locked up?
Yeah, he has life in prison.
Okay. So growing up with your father being away basically your whole life and having your mom, what was that like, seeing the strength that she had to exude to raise you guys?
You know what? Honestly, I didn't see a lot of strength, and that's not to degrade my mother, but I didn't see a lot of strength. And I think what I'm trying to say by that to anyone who's listening is, I used that and made myself that strength that I wanted to see in my mother, because you know, she was weak, and not to say that in a bad way, but she was vulnerable, and I was just like, damn, like I don't want to.
You want more.
Yeah,
like,
I wanted more for her.
I want you to be so much more.
Yeah,
than
like
I think you can be.
Exactly. I was a daddy's girl, and I was a tomboy. So you know, every man that came into that household who wanted to date my mom, they had to go through me. I was like the nigga in charge. Like, and still to this day, if you want to date my mom or my sisters, you have to talk to me. That's me. And if they want to put their hands on my sisters or whatever, or my mom, they talking to me. Like, this is not what's gonna happen. Let me tell you how it's about to happen. So I feel like I had to step in that place of being a man, and I had to step up and being that provider and being that person who was like the strength that I wanted to see, because I knew like my pops is gone, so I gotta be what he would want me to be. And that's all he taught me. Like, fear is something that you get over. So I walked into everything without fear. Like, I was just like, shit, you either gonna like it or you gonna hate it, and I'm gonna give you me.
How do you feel like that translates into your relationships? Because sometimes, like, okay, I'll use my personal example. I was on a date not too long ago, and it's this guy I've been talking to for a second, and he, like, on and off more so, like, but he was like, yo, like, let me be the guy. Like, let your guard down, like, chill, like, I got this. I can go talk to the waiter. Like, you sit, like, let me be the guy. Like, how does that translate for you? Because I can relate to that, like, tomboy growing up. I'm a daddy's girl, but my dad was in my life. But at the same time, I grew up around a whole bunch of guys. My household was more male dominated. So it was like a lot of my traits is like, I will fight my brothers. So it's like, nigga better not try.
Same. I was fighting my cousins.
So, but what is it? But as you become an adult and you're like, okay, I'm not this 15-year-old girl anymore that can just sit up there and fight my brother.
Right.
I'm now this 20-some-odd-year-old woman, and it translates into relationships, and it's like, yo, let me be the guy. Do you feel like you can relate to that at all?
Yeah, I think, okay, so this is a quote that my grandmother always told me, like, when dating. She was like, you're so strong that you can emasculate a man really fast.
Damn.
Because, you know, I was in a position to where, like I said, I was dancing, and I made a lot of money, more money than the guys who were in my dating field, who were my age. And so it would make me drop a nigga, like I keep saying.
Quick to drop a nigga.
Quick to drop a nigga. So it would make me like not put up with anything. And I think as I grew up, it made me more harder. And I'm just like, no, like if you can't do what I'm doing or uplift me even higher, then I don't want to talk to you. But then I'm just like, okay, well, I have to soften up. I have to be submissive. But I only want to be submissive to somebody who I know is going to lead me in the right direction. I'm just not going to let anybody take control of my vehicle. And I've been driving it for so long. And I think I haven't done a bad job. So before I let you drive my car, you got to show me what you're going to bring to the table. I think so many times a man is going to say what you bring to the table. A woman brings so much to the table. I can bear your kids. I can help you be a man, because most of the time these guys are all over the place because they don't have a foundation. And I feel like that foundation comes from your woman. Being in the streets is not where it's at. Like that ain't nothing but problems. So many of these dudes getting shot and killed because they don't have no woman to keep them off the streets. So, I mean, shit. I'm hard, but I feel like the right person is going to accept that, and who's going to bring out that nurturing side, because at the end of the day, I do have that side, but I keep that wall up because I don't want just anybody driving my bus or
I like
my
that
vehicle.
analogy. I like that.
Yeah.
All right, now I want to hop back into the music. Right now we're in a space where there's a lot of girls. But a lot of people think just because there's so many girls that girls are winning right now. And, but girls aren't charting. So, do you agree?
Yeah,
like there's
I
a
agree.
big pool of a lot of female artists out here, which is amazing to see. But people think just because
Shout out to Cardi B and Nicki Minaj.
But those are the two that you usually see right there.
Right.
And then after them, there's the Cash Doll people bring up. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
And then you can't forget about Trina. Trina Kim always stay in the conversation. But there's this.
I think those spots are solidified.
Yeah.
Trina, Kim, Foxy, those spots, they're forever queens. You just like being a mummy. You shit, bitch. You in there. You can't take that away from them.
We can't dig your grave.
Yeah.
All right. So, what are your thoughts more so right now with the pool of female artists that are out? And I guess I would say I feel like I see unity, and then at the same time I could say I don't. Where do you feel like it's at in your
I don't feel
opinion?
like it's unity, honestly. That's just me. Because of the fact that I feel like in this rap game, women are put against each other. Like, there's always competition from how you look, how you sound. Is she rapping about the same thing as me? Are we fucking the same nigga? Are we getting the same bag? Like, what does she have that I don't have? I feel like it's so much competition that women can't be as unified as guys. You see these guys in the studio working. Oh, this my brother, New Atlanta. We all in a gang together. Like, it's a family. But girls can't do that because as soon as I hang with a girl, now you're comparing me and that girl in a picture. Like, if I take a picture with my best friend, oh, she looks better than you. Oh, she's lighter than you. Her ass fatter than yours. Her titties perky. Like, and it shouldn't be that. It should just be two bad bitches who are coming together and making music or making unity. So I feel like nowadays with this music, honestly, it's all popularity. Everybody want to be popular. Everybody see that music is making money. And a lot of these girls ain't really saying nothing. And that's why I feel like I'm different, because when I rap, you can understand what I'm saying. I'm not just saying some bubblegum rap. I'm not just talking about, I can talk about a variety of things. My flow is different. I'm not just doing A, B, C, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, element of P. Like, I'm not just rapping like that. Like, I got some shit going on and I got some shit to talk about. And I feel like, although I'm pretty, I've been through some real shit. Like, that's what a lot of people don't know about me. Like, I made myself pretty. Like, I look just like any other regular girl from around the way. But I made myself who I wanted myself to be, who I saw in the mirror. And so now when I rap, I may rap more harder than the normal pretty girl, but I'm saying some real shit because that's what I've been through.
There you go. I can't wait to hear the project.
I can't wait for the world to hear it, but I'm so shy.
That you're working on. What else is up your sleeve? Because I mean, you're just a hustler. So
yes.
What else is up your sleeve?
I'm working on some body butter. I'm working on a book. Now, I've been working on this book for forever, and I just haven't really finished it because I'm talking about, like, I'm really giving women advice because so many times a lot of the women are contacting me, wanting me to give them advice, seeing what I've been through in my relationships and my most recent relationship, and they want advice, and I want to give them that. I want to be able to help them and teach them how to not be vulnerable. I'm working on my music, of course, working on reading tables, getting some acting going on. I'm going to Fashion Week in New York. Just a lot of stuff. A lot of stuff going on.
Say my name.
It's the Jawn Joy live right here.
You ain't know what it is. We all
Southside Dash Radio.
My PR team. Hold on, wait. I gotta give a shout out to my PR team, Mimi and Shantae.
Shout out to them.
They've been really helping me keep myself grounded, as well as my mother and my grandmother. I like to have a support team. I think if you're in this industry, anything wanting to be in the spotlight, you have to have a solid team. Me more so than anybody because I'm a soft thug. Like, I'm hard, but I'm a crybaby, so I need some solid people around me.
I definitely relate to that. People be like, "You're so hard." I expect. I'm like, no, I'm really soft.
Right.
But it's just, you know what I mean. I'm from Philly, so it's just I gotta fit the mug on.
Right. I feel like that's a defense mechanism.
It is a defense mechanism, and then sometimes you try so hard to break it down, and it's just how you were raised or just things you've been through, and it's kind of hard to just for people to think it's just gonna drop.
Because when I was younger,
definitely a work in progress.
I used to cry a lot. Like, I used to cry off rip. Like, anything. You turn the TV and I'm watching SpongeBob. Like, I'm a big kid. So I would cry. And my uncle told me, he was just like, you can't let people see you sweat because as soon as they see what your weakness is, they attack it. And they're going to keep poking it until they get a reaction from you. So I just grew up like, what? Ain't nobody going to fuck with me? Ain't nobody going to... And it made me harder. But then I still be like, I might go home and cry. Like, now I ain't gonna let you see me cry. I'm gonna go home and cry.
I'm gonna wait 1 second.
Right.
Just give me a second. Let me get to my card real quick.
Right.
All right. You were talking about your book that you're working on, and just the advice you want to give to other women. I want to get your opinion on a certain piece of advice, being that, like you said, your dad has life. What do you say to the girl who is 15, and her dad is incarcerated for the rest of his life or fighting for his freedom? What do you say to her?
Ooh, girl, I just got chills. Because I can see that being me. I didn't have nobody to talk to. It's a hard place to be in because for so long I was angry. I was really, 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 really angry. And I really didn't know why. And it was because I was upset that the system had failed me that was supposed to help. And I feel like so many girls are out there losing fathers, and we are not breaking the cycle. We just keep this cycle going. So if anything, I would say talk to somebody. Like, the more I expressed how I felt, the more I got over being angry. I was angry at everybody. I was angry at the teachers. I was angry at my mom. I was angry at my grandmother. I was an angry child. You couldn't stop me from being so angry. I wanted to fight. I didn't care because I felt like the person that I was supposed to learn how to love left me. And so I went to a anger management counselor, and I was able to talk about my feelings and why I felt the way I felt, and that helped me get over a lot of issues. And just talking to my family, I feel like in the Black community, we don't talk about a lot of the problems that we have, and we don't talk about mental health. And it's so important because a lot of people have mental diseases and don't even know. You're struggling with bipolar, schizophrenia, all these things, and you don't want to get help because you're ashamed, because people make you think that makes you handicapped, so to speak. And it's not. It's real. And when you get help, when you talk to somebody, go to your guidance counselor, write it down in your book, because I was a writer, because at the time I didn't have anybody to talk to. So, I mean, I just talk it out, and you will get through it. And I now go and see my father every now and then. So I feel like going to see them and writing them and keeping in touch with them and just seeing their side of the story too, because I was hurt, but I didn't know how hurt my father was, not being able to see me grow up and grow into a beautiful woman, and not being able to witness certain moments that, was important to him. He made me promise him at one point not to get married until he got home. And I remember thinking okay, so that means he's coming home. And then on my 16th birthday, I found out that he had life. So it was hurtful. I'm like, damn, he lied. He's not coming home until forever. But I see now what he meant. He didn't want a man to love me because he wasn't there to teach me how to be treated by a man. So just talk to somebody, stay around family, stay around solid people, and always know that these struggles can make you into a better woman.
There we have it. That was a nice note to end on. Tell everybody where they can find you at. And
you can find me on Instagram at KIYOMI, Leslie, LESLIE. You can find me on Twitter at THEE_KIYOMI.
Thank you, Kiyomi, for coming through, chopping it out with me. I really enjoy myself. Thank you for coming through. It's the Jawn Joy, Southside Dash Radio. Catch me next time.
Turn up.
Hey, it's the Jawn Joy. It's either created by us, too lit, or inspired by us, living my best life. It's Southside on Dash Radio.